right, so in the worship guitar community, everybody always has questions and everybody's always trying to figure out what to do next. Or if you're where I see a lot of times being a guy who's teaching new guitar players or just trying to help people build gear and all that kind of stuff. For the next couple weeks and the next couple months, we're going to be looking at a bunch of topics that I just feel like needed to be answered. Let's check it out. The first one is not making time to practice the actual songs. Now, big thing here is when you ask somebody if they've practiced, or if you ask somebody like, all right, hey, I want you to practice this week before we come into rehearsals. And biggest thing is they're playing through the songs, but they're just kind of just playing the chords, and they're not actually learning the song. They're not learning the parts behind the songs. So that's one of the first things I always see beginner guitar players make. Number two, not practicing outside of the songs. Now, one of the biggest things that helped me become a better guitar player was not just trying to practice worship music. I have other influences outside of worship. Listen to a lot of John Mayer, listen to a lot of country music, and different ways to learn more about the guitar. That way I can structure it and put it and apply it into worship. And that looks at so many different ways. If we're playing more gospel stuff, a lot of times I'll pull that blues-inspired chords, and I'll pull them blues scales into what I'm playing. Number three, pedal board building. And one of the biggest problems I see when it comes to pedal board building is building a pedal board with no plan or no regard to branding or price or anything like that. I can't tell you how many times I've been reached out to by somebody younger who's really just wanting to build a board. They're wanting to get gear ready. They're wanting to really just bring it all together. You know, they feel like they've moved forward as a player. Now they're wanting to understand the gear side of it. It's great and all, and if you're in that spot too, that's awesome. Go for it. But don't have to have all these pedals so I can play next Sunday type thing. Or have a plan, and it's okay not to have this pedal right now, but don't use that excuse to do what I see a lot, and that is I'll get sent this whole Amazon list of pedals and different gear that have bad reviews or nobody's ever heard of, and sometimes you can find a holy grail in those things. You know, I'm got one that I'm going to talk about in a further video that is a great pedal for a really great price, but the structure behind it was I was looking for a pedal like that and read a lot of reviews about it. The last thing you want to do, and a lot of guitar players and worship guitarists will agree with me, you will find yourself in a hole where you have spent so much money on pedals that are now sitting in your closet. Number four, not listening to other guitarists. Listening to other guitar players. Now, what do I mean by that? Maybe you are the only electric guitar player at your church and you're trying to really branch out and bring that next piece of element to your worship team, and that's great. But the biggest thing that I can say is get on YouTube. You'll find a bunch of guitar players that have either talked about different amps, different pedals that are teaching from a different perspective, and they're not just talking about the pedal, they're talking about how they're using the pedal in context. Vice versa with different styles of playing, different ways of playing. Just learning those things and branching out and understanding that, like, maybe you don't agree with this guy fully, or you don't fully like his tone all that much, but I guarantee you if he's been playing for some time, he probably has something that you can use. So the fifth one is kind of a point, it's kind of not. All those wrap into one thing. It's not playing with confidence. All those bring you to a place to where you do get there on Sunday or Wednesday night or whenever your church does service, you're not confident. And what does that do to you? You end up doing either, you're frustrated while you're trying to play, or you're just not even thinking about what's even going on around you because you're so locked in of trying to play this right part that you're not even having fun with it at that point. And that's one of the biggest things that I can tell you that will absolutely run you into a ditch really quick. And mostly, you just don't have a confidence in even your stage presence. And I'll tell you that too is another thing. Stage presence is also something that is important, because even if you're a guitar player, and I don't care what anybody tells you, Even if you are a guitar player and you're sitting on the back line, you are just as important as everybody else singing that song. You are a worship leader. People are also watching you. There's somebody that plays guitar in your congregation that is not even worried about who's singing, but they're connecting to see if you're going to connect. So think about these things, and if you're doing any of these things, try to work on them. I'm not saying you have to stop them now, but it would be a great thing if you can start weeding those things out. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you have any questions or if you got any comments, drop them down below. And then make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification for any time I post a video. Now, we got more videos coming up just like this one. Hopefully these videos help you out. If not, hey, still support the cause and share it with somebody you may know that's wanting to play guitar. All right, until the next time, see y'all later.